Hello, happy Valentine's Day. Today we're going to pick up where we left off on the story of the Levite, remembering that the Levites are one of the tribes of Israel. There was a Levite who went with his wife, a concubine, to the town of Gibeah, where they were surrounded during the night by a bunch of men who wanted to come in and rape the man, the Levite, and instead they gave his concubine, and she was raped all night and left at the doorstep where she died. That was Judges chapter 19. Today we pick up with Judges 20, where the Israelites retaliate against the Benjamites. The Benjamites are the descendants of Benjamin, another tribe of Israel. And Gibeah is of that tribe. So after the Levites' concubine was killed, the Levite goes home with his concubine and cuts her into 12 pieces and sends one piece of her to each of the tribes of Israel. And the Israelites come out and basically say, what's the deal? What's the story here? So the Israelites from Dan to Beersheba, which just means from the northern tribes to the southern tribes, and from the land of Gilead, come out as one man and assembled before the Lord in Mizpah, which was just a gathering place. The leaders of all the people of the tribes of Israel took their places in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 soldiers armed with swords. The Benjamites heard that the Israelites had gone up to Mizpah. Then the Israelites said, "Tell us how this awful thing happened." So the Levite, the husband of the murdered woman, said, "I and my concubine came to Gibeah in Benjamin to spend the night. During the night, the men of Gibeah came after me and surrounded the house, intending to kill me. They raped my concubine, and she died." He did leave out certainly some facts there, but I guess that's how stories often get retold. "I took my concubine, cut her into pieces, and sent one piece to each region of Israel's inheritance, because they committed this lewd and disgraceful act in Israel. Now all you Israelites, speak up and give your verdict." So all the people rose as one man, saying, "None of us will go home. No, not one of us will return to his house. We'll go up against it as the lot directs." So they're going to cast lots. "We'll take 10 men out of every 100 from all the tribes of Israel, and 100 from 1,000, and 1,000 from 10,000 to get provisions from the army." So 1 out of 10 men are going to get provisions and feed the other 9 who are all going into battle. "Then when the army arrives at Gibeah and Benjamin, it can give them what they deserve for all the vileness done in Israel." So all the men of Israel got together and united as one man against the city. The tribes of Israel sent men throughout the tribe of Benjamin, saying, "What about this awful crime that was committed among you? Surrender those wicked men of Gibeah, so we may put them to death and purge the evil from Israel." So they just want to punish the men of Gibeah. They don't want to punish all of Benjamin. But the Benjamites would not listen to their fellow Israelites. From their towns they all came together at Gibeah to fight against the Israelites. At once, the Benjamites mobilized 26,000 swordsmen from their towns, in addition to 700 chosen men from those living in Gibeah. So they certainly, of the 700 men, they were well backed by 26,000 additional Benjamites. Among all these soldiers, there were 700 chosen men who were left-handed, each of whom could sling a stone at a hair and not miss. Israel, apart from Benjamin, mustered 400,000 swordsmen, all of them fighting men. So 400,000 up against the 26,700. The Israelites went up to Bethel and inquired of God. They said, "Who of us shall go first to fight against the Benjamites?" And the Lord said, "Judah shall go first." The next morning the Israelites got up and pitched camp near Gibeah. The men of Israel went out to fight the Benjamites and took up battle positions against them at Gibeah. The Benjamites came out of Gibeah and cut down 22,000 Israelites on the battlefield. But the men of Israel encouraged one another and again took up their positions where they had stationed themselves the first day. The Israelites went up and wept before the Lord until evening, and they inquired of the Lord. They said, "Shall we go up against the go up again to battle against the Benjamites, our brothers. So there's all of this internal conflict, and they're going to God and saying, are we doing the right thing? The Lord answered, go up against them. Then the Israelites drew near to Benjamin the next day, and this time when the Benjamites came out from Gibeah to oppose them, they cut down another 18,000 Israelites, all of them armed with swords. Then the Israelites, all the people, went up to Bethel, and there they sat weeping before the Lord. They fasted that day until evening and presented burnt offerings and fellowship offerings to the Lord. And the Israelites inquired of the Lord, shall we go up again to do battle against Benjamin our brother or not? The Lord responded, go, for tomorrow I will give them into your hands. So they took the same position as they had on the first 2 days. So this is the third time they've set themselves up, and they set an ambush around Gibeah. So they went up against the Benjamites. The Benjamites came out to meet them and thought, aha, we're winning just like we did before. The Israelites began to retreat, and 30 Israelites were killed. As the retreat took place, they were backing away, drawing the Gibeah residents out and away from their town. And about that time, the actual ambush was made clear to the people of Gibeah, because the Israelites descended into the town, caught fire to the town, killed everybody and every animal that was in the town, and completely stomped on the warriors. They killed all but 600. So it was a crushing defeat against the 30 Israelites that were killed. So again, this was very sanctioned by God, and that God kept telling them, go back in there and fight, go back in there and fight. Unclear why the first 2 days of battle took place the way they did, with the Israelites losing so many men, but everything is according to God's plan. I have no doubt about that. So the story is very tragic, but tomorrow, or rather in our next study, we'll finish Judges with chapter 21, because at this point we have an entire tribe of Israel which has been defeated entirely except for these 600 men. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, bye.